Hey everybody, it's me, it's Undead Viking. I'm sitting here within my gaming dojo, getting ready to do another video review for you. The game that I'm reviewing today, it's a game in Kickstarter right now. It's called Elevenses. And yeah, okay, so yeah, this is a game about ladies getting dressed up and having tea with their friends. And you might be thinking, you know, show us the space explosions and the gunfights and the laser battles, or at least some boring Mediterranean trade from the 1600s, and so I can push some cubes around and load it into boats or whatever. But no, actually, you know, I dig games with those themes, and I like that. But I always like it when a designer kind of takes a stab and goes out on a limb and just kind of, you know, goes with a theme that, like, you probably aren't expecting to see out there. And you know, a food theme is never really a bad thing, honestly. I mean, there's lots of games with a basis of food that have turned out well. Walkstar comes to mind as one of them. So what it is, it's a card game, and the theme is that, yes, you are playing a lady getting ready to have her friends over for tea, and it's whoever can make the best tea and have the finest party. Sorry, I still have my cold or my flu. You know, then wins, and you know, and then so you collect sugar cubes. Wooden cubes, basically, that designate, you know, each you play rounds, and then if you score the most points, you get sugar cubes, and then as the game progresses, the first person to a certain number of sugar cubes, depending on the number of players, or just however you want to play the game, will determine like who in fact wins the game in a total. So I will show you how to play the game like I always do, and then I'll come back and I'll tell you exactly what I think of Elevenses. And this is really good art too, and I know, like, the prototype you're going to like see is very much, you know, I can't guarantee it's the same, but I do know the art is going to look very much the same, if not exactly the same. And the person that got the art, you know, just kind of adds to the whole flavor of the game. But anyway, how to play Elevenses. What you see here is what you're going to get with the game Elevenses. This is the sugar bowl up here. You're trying to collect these sugar cubes. First person to collect 7 cubes wins the game. You'll collect those over a course of several rounds of the game. You can't, like, collect 7 in the very first round. It's not possible. There are 4 decks of cards here of 11 cards each. These are exactly the same. They all have the exact same 11 cards within them. You also do get these little player aids that tell you exactly what each card does from 1 through 11. And on the backs of these, it actually shows how you're supposed to set up your tableau. And I'll show that to you in just a moment. But you'll see it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So, as I always say for any kind of a prototype that I have, what you're seeing in front of you, you know, may or may not actually represent the actual game when it's published, but when I understand, the art that you're going to see and everything is going to be very close to what you see. So I'm only going to need one of these decks to actually show you how the game is played. So let me just go ahead and get rid of all of these except for the green deck. And so, to begin the game, each person will take this, and you can play this game 2 to 4 people. I've played it in all manner, and I found it to be enjoyable with any number of people. So you can just go ahead and shuffle that up. And since I don't really need that, I'm going to get that out of the way. And then you take the top 8 cards, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The remaining 3 are going to be your hand, or what's called the kitchen. And then you place these out. And you're going to place these into rows. So you're going to go like this. 2 rows of 4. Like so. And so that is what's called your tablecloth. And so you don't get to see these. They're kept face down, and you don't know what they are. But as the game progresses, you're going to be flipping these cards over and you're going to be realizing what they are and being able to look at them. And so then you look at the cards you have, and I see I got, oh geez, I got 9, 10, and 11, which is actually pretty cool that I got. So I have number 9, number 10, and number 11. And I'm just going to, since I have these cards, why don't I just show you what they do. And this is actually fortuitous, actually, because of the fact that I can show you a card that doesn't actually go on the tableau. Cakes, and then you can see there's like a cute little picture. This is the spot it goes in, and so if you remember, it's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this is the spot this card goes. So obviously we don't have the right card there. So we have a 9, and it has instructions. So choose a player. She looks at your kitchen and may swap for a card. And one of the things I should notice, you know how like tons of games they either refer to other players of he, or they refer to other players as a non-gender specific. Everything in this game is female centric. Every single gender, which is cool. I don't mind that at all, and it adds to the whole theme of the game and adds to the immersion. If you want to say a game like this has immersion, and we have 10, which is servants. Oh, and I should mention that the spoons up here are how many points this is worth, which is very important, because if you have the most spoons showing, and then your face-up cards in front of you, when the round ends, you win and you get the sugar cubes. So that's good, because there's 2. Because the only one that scores more is actually this, the servants. And if you do this, but notice if you can play that, you have to show your kitchen to all the players. So like maybe, and remember your kitchen is your hand. That's so. And then finally we have Elevenses, which is actually the card that you play. It doesn't do anything. All it does is it ends the round and you total up the points. And so you can see you have to have at least 4 face-up tablecloth cards played to the end of the round, and the card cannot be passed or stolen. Lots of times your cards will be handed off, or you'll be given or taken out of your hand, but this card never can be. So on your turn, you have 2 options. You have 2 actions you can take. You can place a card from your kitchen onto your tablecloth, or you can do 2 swap actions. So I'll show you the placing a card. Well, I don't want to show everybody that I have my 11s card, and I'd have to if I use this one. So I'm going to take Cakes, but it says I choose a player and she gets to look at your kitchen and may swap for a card. So at least only one person will be able to look at my kitchen this way instead of everyone. So what I'll do is you place it over the top like that, and you take the one that's underneath it. Now I can't put the 9 anywhere else but the actual location of the 9. And so I see that I got excuse me, I see that I have got milk. You can see, choose a player, look at their kitchen, you may swap for a card. So this is like kind of a direct opposite, where I get to actually pick somebody and I get to take a card with milk. But so like let's spice things up a bit. Oh, okay, and it's worth 1, but it's in the 3 position. So now I pick a player and I go, okay, you over there, you can look, and I'm going to ask the blue player to look. So the blue player takes a look at my hand, and they're like, oh well, geez, well, milk looks good, but actually I like servants, because look, servants, it's worth 3, and so they're going to take that, and they're going to hand me back a card. And so they dig through their hand that they have, and they hand me back cups and saucers. But now if you notice, cups and saucers has a different backing. Instead of, it might be tough to see, but the green versus blue. So, but that doesn't matter. I can still play this on my tableau. It doesn't matter. I can, you can still do that. Now, and that would be my turn. It would go to the next player, and they do the exact same thing. So, a swap action is very, very simple. Swap action is just you take one of your cards, and so let's just, I want to keep my 11s card. I want to know where it is. So let's just go ahead and, put it down over here. So you put it down, face down, without revealing it to anyone, and you pick up the card that you grabbed. It's like, okay, a sugar card. And then now if you want, you can take one more swap action. But, I actually like this one, because if you notice, the sugar card is, you may look at all of your tablecloth cards as long as this card is face up. This is a very powerful thing. So I am going to be done using the sugar card, and I'm going to be done with my swap action. And so when my turn comes around, then maybe I'm going to go ahead and obviously I'm going to replace that. And so now I pick up my 11s card again, but now I'd have that option of being able to look at all of my cards and and just secretly look at them, put them back down, and what have you. Now, there are other options that players have that allow you to, like they can flip your, flip your cards over. And there's other cards as well. Let me just show you some from another deck. There is the card like with Fine China that, if you notice, all players pass a card from their kitchen to the kitchen to the left. And then the one right after that is Biscuits. You pass instead to the right, and you can see with all these different actions and all these different moves and everything like that, you're going to have situations where people are going to end up like trying to keep track of cards and trying to keep track of the cards they have in front of them and trying to keep track of where the cards are and what cards have been handed off and so forth. And like here's T, like I said, choose a player, pick one and pick one of their tablecloth cards through 2 through 9, and you flip that one over. But regardless, at some point, like if I managed to, place milk, I had that down, and I managed to place cups and saucers down, and so now I had more options available to me. And if I looked at everybody else that was playing, and I knew that I was doing better than they were as far as the number of spoons that I have showing, you can see I would have 5. I could go ahead and I could place my 11s card down on my turn. And what happens when you place the 11s card down is that, as I said, ends the round. And if you have the most, you look at this little sugar cube reminder, and with 4 players, the first person gets 2 cubes, second person gets 1, and 0, 0. And it goes down like that. And so if I had the most, I get 2 sugar cubes for my trouble, and I keep that, and then I'd be well on my way to 7 and winning a hard-fought game of 11s. So there you go. That's how 11s is played. It's very, very simple, but there's a lot more, like I said, with the bluffing and the deduction and everything else going on. There's a lot more game behind just the rules. But I'll go into that more with my summary. I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, I don't think I've ever been to a tea party. I mean, not even with my daughter. I think she got like a plastic tea party set, which is like, you get these giant boxes, and they're like, the boxes are like this thin, but they're like this, and it's like 78 pieces, and it's all these little plastic cups and saucers and whatever. And I'm pretty sure she got that, and my daughter is very much taken after her pop, and so I think she opened it up, and quite honestly, I think she used her dinosaurs to smash it. And so I remember, I think I came down to her room and I saw that it was in pieces, and I just collected all of it and just threw it away. And I figured, well, whatever, she got her use out of it. But yeah, never. And so since the designation to pick the first player in 11s is whoever had like the last time, or person most recently who had like a nice cup of tea at a party or whatever is the first player. Yeah, I guess I will never ever be the first player when I play this game. But that's okay. The game's pretty awesome, and I'm enjoying the heck out of it. What did I like about 11s? I guess, and I'm going to say this and I'll go into more depth. I like the fact that I can teach the game in about 2 minutes, because you really only have 2 actions, and everything else is spelled out in the cards. I'm going to play this card. The card tells you what to do right there, and that's when the game starts. It's the game within the game. And I've mentioned this in other reviews many times, the game within the game. And to a certain degree, all games have this. I mean, there's a social intercourse that occurs in nearly any game, even if you're playing it online. You have for lack of a better term, a relationship at that moment with the people that you're playing the game with. And not only do you have that, but you also have your own force of personality, if you will, that you will now be trying to impress upon the other people at that table. And what happens with games like this that have a lot of secret information, a lot of bluffing, a lot of deduction, is that you have to not only project what you want other people to see and try to hide what you don't want them to see, but you then also have to try to see past what other people are trying to show you is what they are, but then trying to hide. And so that is where the dance, if you will, I'm not trying to be artistic at the dance, but that's where the fun of the game begins, where you're like trying to figure out exactly what your opponents are up to, because the game takes a couple of times to play before you realize all the cool little strategies you can play and all the cool little ideas you can do. Like, the Elevenses card. If you have 4 face-up cards, like I said, you get to play that. That ends the round. And so you have to sit there and bide your time and wait for that perfect time to play it. But you also have to worry about somebody else having that card. And so knowing whether or not somebody has that card in their hand is a very powerful weapon. And so some people that I play with love having the card in their hand. They don't care. They're like, I want to be able to play it whenever I want to. But that's kind of harming you in a way, because you're much better off having more options available to you to affect the board other than just finishing the game. And so it's much better to take that card and hide it in your tableau in front of you. And then, but know where it is, and prevent other people from, you doing anything with that, and knowing where you are, so you know where it is, but they don't know, and maybe they're thinking, oh man, he hasn't even found his Elevenses card yet. Oh, that guy's screwed or whatever, and so that's one of those little facets of the game that you can do. I love being able to shortchange people because they've put their 5 card down and trading them the 5 card from my hand. So now there you go, that's worthless too since you can't use it. And I love that aspect of the game. And and so there's so many different ways you can kind of screw people over, and there's so many different ways people can screw you over, and you got to kind of try to defend yourself. And the best part of the game for me is when you're looking at everybody else's score, and you're like, okay, I've got that many, I'm beating him. Okay, if I can just get the game back around to me, I've got my Elevenses card now, I'm gonna win. And then you're just sitting there and you're waiting and you're hoping nobody messes with you. And then, of course somebody does, and and flips one of your cards over or something, and you're like, well, there goes that idea. And then there's there's that wonderful tension. And then when it gets to you, you can bam! Yeah, there, round's mine, And so those are those moments when you're playing the game that you find yourself really just, as I said in other reviews, you find yourself just smiling as you play, because you're just having a blast and you're having that fun. And like I said, you're enjoying the company and the competition of the people that are around you. And honestly, I should mention this as well. The other thing, and this is kind of like my summation here, the thing about this game that I think is really cool is that I can play this with 3 of my friends. And we can sit down and we can play for 20 minutes or whatever it is to take the finish of the game, and we can all just have an absolute blast. And we're all in our 40s, and we just played a game about ladies sitting down for a spot of tea in the early the early afternoon at 11 o'clock. And I suppose if you really put your mind to it, you could have rethemed this game as something else or whatever. But I really like the fact that they have this cool art and they have this just kind of elegant, wonderful little theme to the game. And all in my opinion, yeah, I mean, was the theme absolutely needed? No, but it really adds a lot to the flavor of the game. And I actually, you know, it's like I really appreciate the fact that the designer had the idea to have an actual game like based on having a spot of tea at 11 a.m. So there you go. As I always do, like would you like this game if you'll like this game in my opinion if you like games full of deduction, full of bluffing, and that are quick action games. A game like Love Letter comes to mind. That's a little faster than this. This has got a little more to it with the tableau of cards in front of you and stuff like that. But if you played Love Letter, which is a fantastic game, and like I said, you know, plays quickly, you just keep tallying, and like, you know, person wins over the course of several rounds. This is a game right along that alley, and in my opinion, I am actually enjoying this one a heck of a lot more than Love Letter. And I play Love Letter all the time at lunch, and we have a blast at that one. It's got the same thing, really. I mean, it's quick and easy to teach to somebody, and you can be up and running, and it takes no time to set up whatsoever, and it's just, and you can be up and running in less than 5 minutes, and so and it's just a heck of a lot of fun. So there you go. Elevenses, it's in Kickstarter right now. It's already met its funding, which is awesome. So you're going to get a copy of it. You don't have to worry about that. If you think this is a game you'd like to add to your collection, please go to the project and donate your hard-earned money. And so then later on, you can have your own cool little tea time with your friends of strangely backstabbing each other, trying to make the best spot of tea out of all of you. So, well, there you go. As always, I really appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. If you have any questions or comments or concerns, you may post those below, and I'll answer those to the best of my ability. And until next time, this was Undead Viking. Appreciate you putting up with my cough. I'm still getting over my flu. And you have an awesome day. Bye-bye now.